Hello and welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you so much for being live with us tonight, on Monday, October 23rd. We're already almost done with October. That's incredible. 8:38 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us. So Orlando City destroyed Toronto FC with a brace of Duncan McGuire, or like John calls him, Big Dunk. And now playoffs are set, best of three against a tough opponent, Nashville. It's going to be a tough opponent. Nothing to, Nashville's kind of doubting themselves too. I've read a couple of articles. They're saying, I don't know if we're going to actually make it this first round. Orlando's a really good team. Orlando has been sent a lot of buzz throughout the league on the way that they are performing and their stamina and everything, and the playability, their coach, their fan base. So Orlando's made a big leap in the MLS. To be honest with you, Duncan McGuire is a big part of that as well, I have to say. I mean, the kid is like touched by, I don't know, it's just he's just that great, you know. Aside of that, we were talking on the last episode on that micro preview I made, about 20 minutes long. I try to sum it up as much as I could. Um, that Ricardo Moreira may be parting ways, right? He's being considered for a job in DC. I don't know how's that going to play out for next year. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Duncan. We're going to talk about CONCACAF Champions League. And, we're going to analyze Nashville and talk about this Toronto game. Big week for Duncan McGuire. A goal with the under 23s. You got a brace. And, hopefully he can take this great momentum onwards towards the playoffs, because then we definitely going to need Duncan McGuire. So, John, how are you, my friend? Good evening. How is that TFC game? You almost called it.
Yeah, I mean, the hat trick. I was gonna thinking of you, Paula. I was like, hey, there's two, and then it was looking like three, and there was a moment there, and I was like, maybe someone would just mess up, and then we'll get that hat trick that we've been craving so much. That would have been perfect for Duncan to be the guy to finally break that. If it's going to be anybody, it could be him or Facu. But yeah, just a nice, easy win. We rotated a lot against Toronto. We kind of predicted maybe that we'd see some rotation. I don't think we said we would see that much, right? So that was a surprise to me. I think the first half, obviously, because of that rotation, we didn't play super great, and they had some chances, and we had some chances. And then really when we brought on our first team, in the sense of like bringing on guys like Duncan and Facu, sorry, not Facu, but Ojeda, etc. It just sort of showed our quality, and then from there on, it looked like the game was in the bag. But that Duncan goal was something else, man. Like that was next level. So
Immediate impact.
Two, of course, is great, but that first one was it was almost like it was too easy for him in some ways. Like he just put Michael Bradley into retirement, right? Like
yeah, he definitely did. Like, he literally did.
See you later, buddy. R.I.P. And
good luck at coaching. Good luck at
the
coaching.
new generation, right? Just blowing right past the old generation
right.
for everybody to see there, very, very obviously. So it was a great another win, and finally we found out what's happening with Nashville and when we're going to play them. So on to playoffs.
Correct. Paola, how are you? And how was the Toronto game for you?
It was good. I was not expecting, like John said, a heavy rotation, more than 8 players change. We hold the fort for the 45 minutes, even though
more
that's
than
the bench.
8 players? That's
yeah,
crazy.
8 players. I was
that's
counting
so
them.
un-Oscar, but I guess he kind of saw as like it's a whatever game, right?
Exactly. But the good news is that we hold the fort for 45 minutes in the first half. They had their chances. They were pressing because they knew that that was the bench. That was the secondary lineup for Oscar Pareja. That was not our forte formation. So they were pressing. But guess what? We were a better team as we are this season. So Big Dunk came in for the win for those two massive golazos that he made. And to be honest, I have rewatched that golazo that he did, the first goal, like more than 10 times, because I was like, I was talking about his touches in my Spanish pod, and he shut me up because I was criticizing some of his movement and control of the ball, but he did it. He did it perfectly for that golazo against Toronto FC on past Saturday. And I was with you, John. I was waiting for that third goal. I was like, oh man, I can see that third goal coming in. But I think I jinxed it. Next time I won't say anything. So somebody have a hat trick before the season. Well, before the playoff. Now the playoff, right? When goes on. But happy to be back. It's Monday. And now the big era, the moment of the truth is here, the playoff time.
Correct. We are on the pretty much onwards to playoffs, right? We need a definitely best of three. I think we could definitely win the series. The whole league is talking about it. I would like to talk about a little bit about Toronto before we jump into Nashville. You know, just like you were saying, Paula, I believe that there was no chemistry from a lot of the players, especially on the wings. Like Gaston Gonzalez, you could still see he has some rust on him, and same with Junior, playing as a right winger, circa 2022 season, right? So, um, and eventually, I believe Toronto truly took advantage of that. They could have scored a couple. Mason Satterhar had an amazing game. It was like almost like a 60-40 in possession in the first half. And then, again, the rotation and the changes Oscar made just made an immediate impact. I mean, when, you saw Kyle Smith coming in, he gave him more of like not so much of a attacking mindset, but it was more of like helping out the back line. I feel like, Antonio felt a little confident with him being there. That was just my opinion. And then it took from that to Duncan McGuire, being that type of player in which is going to definitely come in and really like fresh legs and destroy everyone in the attacking third, And again, we saw a good usage, and I think definitely could take this to the playoffs. Good usage of our backups, and also good usage of our starters. I think after John and I and Paula asked for so many times, like Oscar needs to know, like where sometimes what starters to put and when to rest players, when not to rest players. I think now this whole team is in sync, and they know each other just by looking at each other. So, John, do you agree on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very on Oscar, right, to rotate that much. Like, we're not used to him doing that. So I think it definitely shows that he was comfortable to do that, and he wants to give guys minutes because he knows that, like, with the playoffs, we're gonna have to play 3 matches and like in a week, essentially, almost, right? Like, well, not in a week, but a bit more than that. And it's going to be a lot of games coming up still. So we're going to need to use the depth of our team. And he wants to give those guys a chance to get minutes. And we called like definitely Antonio Carlos. And, we said maybe Gaston. And a few other guys, but there was even the likes of Junior playing at the attacking central midfield role instead of Mauricio. Like that's something I didn't think was likely to happen. And a few other players getting in there, like Mikey Halliday rested for Dagger Dan. So I love the fact that he gave everybody a chance, to say, hey, show me what you can do before the playoffs and why I should, bring you off the bench. The only one for me that was a bit frustrating was that Jacqueline didn't really get much time. I was hoping maybe he would be able to see a little bit more minutes, obviously being Golden Boot winner and MVP down in OCB. I was thinking that we're going to hopefully use him in the playoffs as an asset off the bench. So I love the rotation. I wasn't really worried that we didn't gel as a kind of B team, right? I think that's okay. I think that a lot of these players are just going to be brought off the bench when we need them, and they're not going to be playing a huge amount of minutes left in the rest of the season. So, like I said, it's just Oscar giving them a chance to show what they can do one last time before playoffs, so that when he needs to call upon guys at certain moments of the game, he knows who's sort of in form and who's ready to step up and what they're bringing to the table. And what do you guys think in terms of that? Like who actually showed Oscar this game something maybe to think about and maybe to give him an idea? I think obviously Antonio Carlos, right?
Yeah,
I think
of
most
course.
likely that he's going to come back in the lineup, and this was an affirmation of that. But was anybody else that you thought played really well in this game?
Felipe played well. I believe Felipe played well, with intensity. I also felt Mikey Holiday did a great job. Um, I still need to see more about Ramiro, though. I'm on your boat right there. I wish I would have seen more of Jacqueline, especially being 2-0 up. Like I wish he should have just made the sub, and just go for. I don't know. I just feel like it would have good to see also a different system, maybe with two strikers. I thought that would have been great, because we're gonna play. Everyone around the league is saying Orlando has been everyone in this playoff bracket, and we have. And this is great for us, but that comes with it's a double-edged sword. They already know how we play, and we need to throw them. We got to play, strategy. It's just my opinion. We cannot just be content of, oh yeah, we beat them all. We're ready to go. No, this is playoffs. I mean, everyone wants to win. Now it's a best of 3, which I wish it was a little different. I wish it was like one game and that's it. That's just my opinion. But I think to me, Mikey and Felipe, they're great. I don't know about you, Paula.
I think I agree with you, Luis, about Ramiro. I don't think when Gaston did some crosses, he wasn't in his position, because Gaston did like 2 crosses and they were like on point, but there was nobody in the box to score that goal, or Junior Urso. So I am with you, Luis. I need to see more Ramiro, and if Ramiro is not producing, let's Jacqueline to China a little bit. I didn't mind Duncan Maguire because he scored 2 for us, but I would have liked to see Jacqueline in this particular case. And back to what Luis said, this is not our formation for the playoff, but we need to probably make some adjustment, because like Luis said, they know how we play, they know how Duncan Maguire moves. So we need a wild card at some point at the playoff.
Yeah,
That's
now that's
possibly
what's
that.
now that's what they're gonna do. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and before Duncan was easy, no one would spot him. Oh, he's just a rookie, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, man, Duncan is one of the leading goal scorers in the league. Like, you better watch out. Duncan's coming to town. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely going to create some chaos right there in the attacking third. And he's shown, like, to me, that was, I think, his best goal in his professional career. He lifted up on Michael Bradley. Like, I don't know if he's learned by the Brazilians or something in the team. I don't know, but he
That's a
just,
good question for him,
yeah,
Luis.
he just lifted it up. Like, I was like, am I watching like Copa Libertadores right now? Like, what the hell am I watching? Like, it was great. And then just like, boom, it was a great goal. Like, nothing, nothing to do. And I mean, Toronto, I feel bad for the Toronto fans for sure. I mean, they definitely packed their stadium and for Michael Bradley. And it's sad to see that, whether we liked it or not, I know John is not his good graces, but he did was the captain of the national team at some point, you know what I mean? And he's gonna be a coach now, John. He may coach the Orlando City, or the Pride, maybe.
He's gonna coach Toronto, surely. It's gonna be like the Toronto. I bet you he's the what is that? Whatever their second team is, Toronto 2,
Or San Diego,
Toronto
San Diego
B. He'll be
Loyal.
the Toronto B team coach. I bet you any money.
That's right. That's right. Let's read some comments right here. It says Joshua Tall, Duncan McGuire Braves versus Toronto was fire. We will have to find a way to stop Hani Mukhtar, and hopefully we can contain him. Hopefully we can get good defensively and score a few goals and beat Nashville next Monday. Christopher Bragdon, glad to see Mason with a clean sheet. Correct. I mean, what a career Mason has had. I mean, Orlando played without. I think it was without Pedro, without Wilder, without Facu, and I want to say was another one. And Rafael Santos. Like, these are 4 vital players in our squad, right? Massive, impactful players that we have on the starting 11 for Orlando City. Especially Rafael, I believe. Like, Rafael and Facu are like part of the big success we've had this season. And not to say Pedro hasn't, obviously. I mean, Pedro also, but I feel like in the goalkeeping position, we have another great goalkeeper like is Mason Sadahar, and also Greeny was doing some crazy saves in the training before they left to Toronto. So I mean, 3 great outstanding goalkeepers. So without those 4, I remember back in the day we had to repeat the same starting 11, John, and to get the results. But now without 4 of our core, we've shown that we could still beat Toronto 2-0. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
I don't know if that's a
great
reflection
progress.
more on how deep and good our squad is, or just how bad Toronto are this year. Like I was thinking about that though. It's kind of a flex. It's like a very weird flex that we're just like, hey, yeah, we played our second team and still beat you 2-0. And they actually played like Sean Johnson and Bernardeschi and Insigne. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't expect those guys to come back for this game. I thought they were just going to be like, nah. They were talking about how they were going to play like a bunch of kids, and so
And by the
that
way,
didn't really happen. They played a lot of their
leave that to
starters. Like basically, they're one of their strongest teams. So I think the new coach is trying to prove a point, like you said, Luis. And the point was not proved. If anything, the point was proved that you should transfer half your team because.
correct.
Yeah, I don't know. If it was me and I was Toronto, I would be getting rid of Bernadette and Insigne. I don't think they work. I think they are not Giovinco, and they will never be Giovinco. So move on from the Italian experiment. Why aren't they using all their Canadian assets? Like they've got such a pipeline to be able to bring great Canadian players through. So I think that's what they'll kind of focus on with their new, obviously, coach, who obviously will know a lot of good Canadian players, having managed the team. So I think that's what we'll see from them going forward. And, but I think it's going to be a while before Toronto are a big team again, right? Like how far have they fallen? And, hopefully we take our chances while we're here on top of the pyramid right now. We're a big team, and Toronto are down there. Like we said, it was 2018 the last time they won. So good to see. And a weird flex to beat them with our second team. And also just to show, once we brought on Duncan, it was like, game over. And like we brought on a couple guys that just were, basically changed the game to the point where it was a completely different game. It was no longer kind of even. It was just, okay, now we're going to win. So I think that shows how much stronger our team is than Toronto's first team.
What are your insights regarding Toronto, Paula?
The same thought as John. No, being serious. I didn't see chemistry. There's a reason that they're last at the standing right now, and you saw it. Like, they are the team that have most budget, that salary cap before Messi came in, whatever. But they didn't do anything. Like, Lorenzo tried, Bernardeschi tried, and they couldn't finish. So whatever. Like, for me, it's only big names, but you can see the reflection on the results. So they're first from the bottom up in the list. So
What's funny
and
is they spent the most money
exactly, the most
and
money in
they're
the entire
worse.
league.
But like if you look at their squad, it's completely like they spent the most money in the attack and like they got a sum in midfield, but like that defense is nowhere near good enough to win you anything. Like you can't play Shane O'Neill and Mabika at the back of three center backs, or two of them are those guys, and expect to be able to stop MLS like attacks. Like it just doesn't. They've spent a lot of money, but it's not an even squad, right?
I
That's what I
forgot
think,
about
right?
Shane
We're
O'Neill.
spending money on guys like Jansen and Pedro at the back, which they're just not. So
Yeah.
I think
So
they spent poorly. They went for an experiment. It was do or die with the Italians, and it didn't work, as we
the
talked about
Italian
before. So
squad are going back to Italy,
yeah.
probably. We're not seeing them next year for sure.
I don't
So
know. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens with them.
there's a
We'll see.
lot of movement this off season for sure. And
Yeah.
not only with Toronto, LA Galaxy, they just
Oh yeah.
announced this guy Douglas. He's parting ways, with LA Galaxy. So
Douglas
I'm
Luiz
interested.
gone.
Yep.
Wow, that's not surprising. I mean, come on.
You know,
So
one of the pieces of news that is surrounding also the league is that there's a lot of veteran strikers available. I know for a fact, Joseph Martinez available, guys.
oh, that's true, Joseph Marti. Breaking
How did I
Veteran
news.
know that's
presence,
what you were gonna say?
veteran presence, and guess who else is available?
uh, Tom Dwyer. Is that what you're gonna
No,
say?
no, you can get him
uh,
for cheap.
Callens. You can talk about Callens
No,
as being
no, no, no,
available.
no.
No, come on.
Kai Kamara,
I
Kai
can. I
Kamara,
don't want.
Kai Kamara. Come on.
Look, we talked about this before, and the Michael Bradley getting smoked by Duncan McGuire is a perfect example of this era of MLS players is over, right? This is why LA is being like, yeah, Douglas Luiz, you can go, and we don't care, because you can't build your team and win that way anymore, right? So it's all about you can't just sign a bunch of guys out of Europe who are 35 and just think you can do it with that. You've got to find some other talents, younger talents, develop your own talents. You know, look at the teams that are at the top of the table. They're not full of old players.
So would you take Joseph Martinez, please?
No.
Who me? I mean,
That
I
honeymoon
think the
phase with
fans
Messi.
would riot. I think if we signed Joseph Martinez, they just wouldn't let him on the field. Like they
No,
just
no,
wouldn't
that's
the
have him.
fence, the fence. I mean, it'll be. I mean, it's a business move, right? But I believe
They're
that
bad business move. The guy's
it
washed
is
up.
it is a bad business because no one's gonna buy their jersey. No one's gonna buy anything that says Joseph Martinez. Especially Orlando is such a close knit like town when it comes to Orlando City. You know, I highly doubt any other fans are gonna be happy if Joseph is like
It's just
signing with
something
me.
you don't do, right? You don't
Yeah.
sign guys who played for two of your rivals. It's not a good look.
Now, if it was Kyle Aaron, then it would be a different story. I believe that if it was Kyle Aaron, people will be like, "Oh, welcome and open up." Now we got Kyle, veteran presence, Canada national team. You know, playing in Besiktas, and now we have Ramiro Enrique. We have Duncan, right? We have Jacqueline. Then I think the fans will be like, okay, I'll take that. I mean, I don't care what happened in the past or how he left. I'll take that all day. You know, but when it comes to plus, if you still have the 2015 Laring jersey, you could wear it one more time, right? So, you know, I, I don't think Joseph Martinez will be a good. I mean, you know who I would have loved? Cavani as a backup,
That's a good pick.
coming in the second half, like for Duncan.
He's in Boca Juniors right now,
Yeah,
right?
he's not doing very well.
Oh,
Luis
Listen,
Suarez
Cavani, is
is,
that who you're talking about?
yeah,
As in the guy who's like 38 years old.
yeah. Well,
yeah.
Luis Suarez also, he apparently is gonna go
Luis,
to
you gotta stop
Miami.
trying to think about all these old men, man. We're not signing
No, but
old
I'm talking
men.
about as backups.
I don't even
Backup,
as
yeah, yeah.
backup. We don't. We have Enrique. We have Jacqueline. We
No,
got
man,
youth
Enrique,
backups. We don't need. We don't need
Enrique.
old man backups.
I don't think Enrique has shown enough yet.
I mean, it's just his first year in the league, man. I
So
think give
hopefully,
him time.
hopefully by next year he's gonna be, after
Ojeda
preseason,
too,
probably
right? I
right.
think Ojeda has definitely shown throughout the season that he struggled at the beginning and he's gotten better and better. I think next year he's going to be
I
even
think,
better.
yeah.
Enrique's going to be even better. I
Next
think there's
year
a
he's
lot
gonna
of
get out of
guys this
his.
year that we'll see even grow. Like Dakotan will be even better next year. So I think that's a lot of people struggle their first year in MLS, and Enrique I think is one that also hasn't had a lot of minutes. Right? He's never been a consistent starter.
I don't know. Yeah. So overall, Orlando is the new, just like Nashville was maybe the past 2 seasons ago. Orlando right now is the example of how to build an MLS squad. Now, I will have to say, Orlando City fans, they're doubters, and it's okay to be a doubter, because it's okay to doubt on Orlando, because if, especially if you come from back in the day, and you've seen Orlando lose back-to-back games and all that stuff, you kind of don't believe the hype just yet, right? So there's still always one more thing they got to prove until they truly win the big one, right? And I think once Orlando wins that big one, the mentality of the fans are going to completely change at that point, and people are going to be taking this team way serious now. Now they're taking it serious now, but I believe Orlando is the team that spent the least money in the league, and they're second in the East. You know what I mean? Second in the East, playing 2 home playoffs games. Well, 1 home playoff game and a possibility of a third, right? And even Matt Doyle came out. Matt Doyle, everyone is, well-regarded journalist Matt Doyle. He picked for his bracket selection Orlando City as MLS champ. Hopefully, he didn't jinx us. If he did, he's gonna get
He loves Big Dunk. That's why he's like Big Dunk cannot be stopped. Therefore, we win MLS Cup.
yeah. And so honestly, it's great. It's great to see that Orlando has such great momentum. I know the fan base is definitely now united. Some of them are still doubting, which is okay. It's Orlando City. I know they have to show it on the pitch. But there's people like, and I consider myself those type of people. I always believed. I always believed in this team. I never doubted that this group of guys were gonna go into this amazing form and gel, because they had everything. They had the fans, they had the beautiful kit, the manager, they had the players. It just need a little time to gel, right? And I think now you could see it. So round 1 of the playoffs, John, October 30th, 7 p.m., Orlando City versus Nashville. What are your expectations out of this game? To me, stop Hani Mukhtar, and I think we need to rewatch the tape of that game against Nashville that we beat them.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really play a super sexy style of soccer, right? I think they seem to struggle to be creating chances more recently. At the end of the season, they haven't been scoring as many goals. Hani Mukhtar is obviously still there, and Sam Surge just done okay for them when he's come in, but they're missing, Zelarayan, I believe, was the guy who left, right? They're missing some of his threats. They're just I think they kind of play a style of soccer which is very direct. They play kind of like counter-attacking direct soccer. So they want us to attack them. I think at home they're definitely gonna sit deep and want us to attack them and try and break them down, and then spring on the counterattack. And that first game on the Monday the 30th is what we need to be wary of. But I think we've shown that we're able to get through that now. Previous teams with Oscar, in previous years, sorry, with Oscar, we had struggled with that tactic before, where we just weren't able to have enough quality, weren't creative enough to be able to get through like two low blocks of defensive lines and get that goal. But like we saw when we went to their house, like they kind of did that at home, and they also did that against us when they came to Orlando City. But we seem to be the team now able to get through that, and because of that, I think Nashville can't completely rely on that as a tactic against us. Especially if we score early, it will cause real problems for them. So I think as long as we score in the first half, they'll have to come out and try to attack us a little bit more, and then we'll kind of get another goal. And once we get 2 or 3, it'll really start to expose them. I think also they don't have the depth that we have. So over this 3-game series, we'll be able to rotate guys and have better quality in rotation. Whereas once they kind of take Hani Mukhtar off the field and a few other of their players, they don't really have many assets outside of that are threatening. Whereas we're able to bring on Martin Ojeda or, guys like Jack Lynn or whoever else you want to bring off the bench and cause more of a threat. So this first game, that might not apply as much, but as we get into the second and maybe a third game, I think that'll be a real asset. The main thing is for me is we have to not allow them to kill the game. That's something they did very well. Their house is they're very they make a lot of fouls, they tackle, they try to break up any flow, and we require a certain amount of flow, and we trying to build into our attacks and make a few passes, build the play, build rhythm, and they try and stop that happening. So that's something at home we want to be able to make sure we get 2 or 3 goals, get our rhythm going, so that when we go away to Nashville, we've got that confidence to be able to go and keep scoring. Right, that second game, we just gotta keep going the way we do, hopefully from a win in the first game. But it's psychological, right? In soccer, this 3-game series is rare. So I think there's some mind games that are going to be played here over tactics that will change between the 3 games of the managers. Do you guys see it that way, or how do you feel about this first match?
I can see it that way. Nashville is a super physical team. There were I'm counting right now how many yellow cards against Nashville that game, and there were more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellow cards and 1 red card. So and that was in the regular season. Imagine the playoff. They're gonna be physical as much as they can. They're trying to break us apart in the front and the offense because they don't have anybody to score goals. They're lacking. Like Mukhtar, yes, we need to mark him for sure, but he's not having the best season that he has had 4 years prior. Zimmerman is the other one that we need to watch, and he's not having the season as before, right? Leal, shut up. He hasn't done anything because of the injury. He just came from injury a couple of weeks ago, months ago. He has not done anything for the team. So we are facing a non-consistency team that against us that we are consistent for the past 20 past games or something like that. So I'm with you, John. I don't know about the second game. Could be more mentally, but something that I will give to Orlando this season, every time that is an important game, they grow even better. So it will be different in their mindset. I'm pumped to see how we're going to tackle Nashville. But again, it's going to be physical, like the song, physical. Okay.
I mean, they've only scored 39 goals in this regular season.
They're lacking.
And we've scored 55. Like, if you're looking at the teams that are up there that scored the most goals, a lot of those are playoff teams. Nashville down there with teams that are not in the playoffs. Like
Yeah, I
they have
mean,
not scored that many, and they don't. That's part of their tactics, right? Like you said, like it's not a high scoring tactic, but still, even this year, they've been lacking in that tactic to be able to score the goals like they usually do.
the set piece, it's been important for Nashville.
I was
I
gonna say
believe
that, yeah.
that
Yeah, like Zimmerman,
a,
they rely
a
on him to
player
get goals from
a
set
player
pieces.
like Zimmerman, a player like Hani Mukhtar, you gotta definitely watch out where you foul them. We have one of the most fouling individuals in the league. His name is Cesar Araujo, right? So that to me is something that Cesar needs to rely on Wilder. They got to work together on stopping Mukhtar, and I'm sure they could do it. But I want to show you guys what I want to give kudos and credit to the pamphleteer. I think it's called the Nashville Pamphleteer. There you go. There's a and they wrote something that is important, and I think Paola talked about it a little bit just now. It says, as the squad peaked at second place in Eastern Conference standings, led by budding superstar Hani Mukhtar, belief grew to an all-time high in regards to what this young team could accomplish. However, inconsistencies on the offensive end re-emerged from the beginning of the season. A measly 4 goals scored in the final half-dozen contests, including 3 in their lone win, spoiled by any hopes of clinching home field advantage for round 1. Truly, Nashville SC league play has been abysmal since the end of June, but these units' deep run to the League's Cup final proves they can turn the magic on with their backs against the wall. The defense is the foundation of Nashville. That is no secret to any club in all of North America. I kindly do not agree with this statement because there's a lot of teams in the MLS, and the way the MLS is perceived overseas is like great players from 3/4 of the field onwards, great names, but the defenses are shit. That's a lot. I get that all the time from South Americans. I'm like, now Orlando has shown defensive presence, massive and depth too. So we'll see. It says the defense is the foundation of Nashville. It's no secret in North America. The ultimate X factor will be forwards and their ability to finish inside the box and attack inside. In my opinion, I believe Nashville and Orlando lack the same thing. The difference is Orlando is being more effective, and they have Duncan McGuire. They don't have a Duncan McGuire. They don't have a Facundo Torres. They only have Hani Mukhtar right now that creates that play. You take him out, and then the whole attack falls down. Now, what does to me Orlando needs to do? Finish the attacking play. They generate chances. They just don't score them. In many games. In this one, 0-0 until almost the second half. That Duncan came on and changed things around. Now, we cannot expect to rely on Duncan like that all the time. You have to understand that I believe that the chances we create, we got to put them. We got to put them out. So Ramiro needs to be on point. Ivan Angulo needs to shoot the ball, not do the extra dribble. Facu as well, instead of trying to look for his left, try to passing it back. He needs to shoot the ball. Same with Martin. I think that's what we need. And like you said, I think the goals are going to come by themselves, John. I think that Orlando they know how to beat this Nashville team now. And defensively, I believe now we're getting a lot of depth that they don't have right now, aside of Zimmerman. So I believe Orlando has they're right now favorites in Nashville. Now, everything could change on the pitch, right? Right? It's the magic of this beautiful sport. But Orlando's in an all-time high right now, and that momentum needs to be translated into better attacking prowess. And look, talking about that, look at this right here. Look at that. Duncan McGuire making up the team of the match day, right? And Johnny Russell actually got the week MVP. But
Hey, I'm gonna invite everybody who's listening to us or watching us. Go to Twitter, vote for Duncan Maguire goal of the week, please, because people are voting for Lucho Acosta, and we're like neck to neck, and Duncan deserves the goal of the week, please, or the goal of the month. I don't remember. So go to Orlando City Twitter, look for it, and vote for Duncan Maguire, please, because he deserves. This is a golazo, his best golazo in his history, rookie history with Orlando City. So sorry, Luis, to cut you there.
no, it's okay. We have the goal for Duncan McGuire right here. Actually, let's look at the goal and
It's
just
definitely like, even if I wasn't an Orlando City fan and I was just an MLS fan, I was looking
yeah.
at this subjectively. It's the best goal,
It's the best one.
so it should win regardless of whether
Yeah,
you're an
but
Orlando City fan or not, right?
I'm tired of the league giving Dennis Bubwanga the freaking every time. Like bro,
Headlight.
Bubwanga. I'm
I
telling
think
you,
that's
bro.
that what I'm, here. It's like if they don't give it to him, then it's clear that they don't want to because it's the best goal. It should win.
I go to the toilet, I see Dennis Bubwanga. I go eat my cereal, I see Dennis Bubwanga on my milk. He's everywhere, man. Guys, stop. He was the most cold chested choker guy in front of Messi. He did it in front of Carlos. I will never forget that. He choked in front of Messi and then has the balls after his team lost to go ask Messi for his hey, sign my jersey. Can you sign? Disrespectful. Carlos Vela looked at him like, "What the hell are you doing, dude?" But then again, that guy. Every time I get an MLS communications email, Dennis Buwanga. I'm like, bro, like, yeah, give some credit to Duncan McGuire, man. I think he definitely deserves the goal. Let's watch it. There you go. Like the way he just overpowered Bradley. Like I feel terrible. This was his retirement game. Like, boom, and then the backflips. How many backflips? Look, Laren didn't do a backflip, right? No, he didn't. He did.
No.
I think DK did backflips, not Laren.
DK.
DK.
And
Yeah,
Nani?
if I
Um,
remember
No,
correctly.
Nani
I
was
don't know.
there.
I get confused about which
Dwyer
of
did
our
a backflip.
strikers are
Nani
able to
did a
do
backflip.
backflips, and which are
Dwyer was the one with the
Dwyer.
backflip.
Dwyer did a
There
lot
you
of
go.
backflips for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, look, and they
but
dedicated
I'm
this
pretty sure
game.
Daryl also did backflips.
Who?
Daryl DK. I'm pretty sure he also did.
I remember the Frankenstein celebration. That was amazing. Yeah.
That was the best
So
one.
they dedicated this game to Shafiq, was one of their kit managers. Um, you know, he's going through some tough times and dedicated his win to them. So, you know, someone very important. And now, are we still waiting for Gaston Gonzalez to gel with the team?
I don't think it's gel. It's just the mentality of the injuries
I
and
mean,
as
he's been injured twice this year. So,
exactly. Plus, coming out of a big injury, and he hasn't before that big injury, he was never injured. So it's more mentally at this point than gelling with the team. I think the gel of the team has been there since he got here last year, and he was not playing with the team. I think it's more now psychologically.
and I feel that he's playing a little bit more carefully. Like before, he was just more like going for the extra dribble, or maybe trying to do the no look passes, and he did that in Argentina many times. He was a league scorer in his club and everything. So you know, uh, I believe hopefully having a preseason with the team is gonna help him adjust, and maybe he doesn't get injured in this next year. John, what are your thoughts regarding that?
Yeah, I mean, he's gotta come back next year strong. He's got to have a good preseason, right? He's got to try and be injury free for a while. I also think it depends on the situation and if he's happy to be a squad player, right? I don't think he's going to get into the starting lineup next season easily. So if he's happy to be a squad player, then sure. But he might say, okay, I want to go somewhere where I'm guaranteed to play because I'm getting older and I haven't played much in the last 2 years. There's so many factors that can come into play in the off season. We'll have to see if he's still here come the new season. Then he's got to, like I said, have a good preseason. And I think for right now, it's just not get injured for half a season or a year and just get some consistency and some play time under his belt, and then we could kind of see what player we might have. I think we haven't been able to see fully what Gaston's been able to offer because he's just been constantly injured or because of that not in the team or just on the bench or whatever. It's been hard for him, so you got to sympathize, but sometimes it's just that's the way it happens. And some players have careers where they go through these injury patches and it can derail your progress, and you got to find your rhythm again and figure out how to get back into the starting lineup.
Correct. Let's read some comments real quick here. Anthony Solis, I swear if Angulo could shot, we would have like 80 points. I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I agree. If we would have made all those extra passes, those, hey, yeah, I do the whole. I get to the promised land, and then oh shit, I forgot my my I forgot my tanning lotion. Hold on a second. Let me pass it back to my defense, right? And that's exactly what Orlando does. And then what happens is they're passing back to the defense. The other team increases pressure down in the mid. Boom, turnover against Columbus, or in Cucho scores, and then we're like with our faces like, what the hell did just happen? Orlando was like Orlando had like 3, 4, 5, 6 chances the last 20 minutes, and they just scored on us, and then Orlando coming back from that is what costs us sometimes even games, or maybe to get back into the game a little bit, so Christopher Bragdon, they live off the press and make you pay for a mistake. Correct. I agree with you, John. And yep, Joshua Tall. Thank you so much to everyone that's watching us. About 12 people live. Thank you. Drop us a thumbs up for more. So here's the. You guys want to do a bracket real quick and some predictions and see if we're going to be winning the MLS?
Let's
I
do it.
have the bracket right here. Right. Best of 3. Well, obviously, we're all going to say Orlando's going to win. I mean, right? I mean, I wouldn't say Orlando's going to win, right? Then from the Columbus and Atlanta.
This is going to be interesting.
In my opinion, I believe Atlanta's going to win this game.
You think?
Yeah.
I think Columbus is gonna win, and I don't want Columbus in the next round. To be honest, I don't want Columbus. I prefer Atlanta to win the best of 3, but unfortunately, Columbus is gonna go forward. I don't know about you, John.
I agree entirely with Paul. I think Columbus scare me more than any other team in the East.
Yep.
More than Cincy.
I was gonna say that you a mind reader. Like even
Columbus
Cincy,
are scary,
I don't
man. That
care.
4-3 game, they play a very similar way to us, I think. Where it's just like now we're very attacking, very aggressive, quick paced, got a lot of good quality players, pass the ball well. I think that they've always been a bogey team for us, and I think we did well against them in that 4-3 win. But they went straight through us for those first 3 goals. Remember that, right? So
We were
if we have
down
to
all
play them
game.
in playoffs in a 1-game situation, so knock on
Hopefully
wood.
not.
Yeah,
But
That
I'm going.
Atlanta, because Atlanta, I feel like we can beat Atlanta. I think that we know what they're about. We can shut down Almada. They don't have a huge amount else going on. There's something more manageable about playing Atlanta than Columbus, and I agree. I think Columbus are a good prospect. They've been hot again. If you look at their results recently, they've been scoring a lot.
Well, if Almada wants to be the next Messi, right? He needs to win this type of games. Luis Abram from the Peruvian national team plays in Atlanta as well. He's going to be probably the center back duo with Miles Robinson. And, Miles Robinson has shown that when the potato's hot, he likes to, make some great mashed potatoes sometimes, scoring some goals from set pieces. So, I mean, Atlanta has also some. Don't sleep on Atlanta. I believe Atlanta. I mean, it's better for us that Atlanta goes through. I agree with you guys on that. I believe Cucho Hernandez is like blowing it, blowing the league in goals too. So, um, so okay. So you both go for Columbus. I'll go for Atlanta. Now on the other right here, the Union against the Revolution.
Philly.
I think Philly's gonna win this one.
Philly's gonna go forward. I don't know about you, John.
I don't know what do you think.
Really?
Yeah, Philly are definitely. I mean, the Revolution.
They have a mess. They just have a mess.
Not doing so good, and Philly are still a good contender. They're still up there, right? They've been up and down throughout the season, but they're still a top 3 or 4 Eastern team like they were last year.
Yep.
No, the wild cards, right?
Oh, Red Bull for sure.
You're talking about Red Bulls and Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Now Charlotte, they posted a video today about how they are, the only thing left in that video was Ric Flair is they forgot that Ric Flair is from Charlotte, and they forgot to put the Jordan play in North Carolina University. Like they are they're being very gung ho that they could definitely go and get past New York. Now they can. They have a great striker like Enzo Copetti, and he's shown against Orlando too that he can make a very immediate impact. I do believe still that Red Bulls are the better team out of the two. And either way, I think Cincy's going through, either if it's Red Bulls or Charlotte, I believe. Now, it'll be a really big surprise if one of these teams knocks out Cincinnati. Now, what are your thoughts regarding that, John?
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be Red Bulls probably over Charlotte, right? I think that they've got the edge there. And then Cincy, I think you're looking at a Philly, Cincy, us, most likely Columbus, sort of. What is that? Conference semifinals on the East. That's how I would line it up.
What are you, Paola?
Cincy. We're talking about the quarterfinals here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go up, okay, Cincy.
Card.
Oh, wild card. Oh, Red Bull for sure.
Red Bulls against Cincinnati, and then Cincinnati goes through, or Red Bulls?
No, Cincinnati.
Yeah, I believe so.
Red Bulls need some miracle at this point, or whoever faces Cincy.
On the other side, we have a lot of teams that, aside of LAFC, I am sorry, but there's the East is I think the champs are going to be from the East.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, you would hope. I mean, to slip up in the West. I think you're looking at the Philly Cincy game being a big game on the East side, and I saw Anthony Solis saying that New York's going to pull off the upset. I mean, that's the thing. Luckily, they're not on the same side of this as Cincy, so hopefully one of these teams could knock them out before, because they're the only team that means we'd have to go away. So as long as we don't have to play them, we're at home. Apart from this one away game in Nashville in the series of 3 the whole time, and that'll be smooth sailing. And we need that, right? We need our 12th man to help us. So everybody needs to come out to these playoff games, even if they schedule them on a Monday. We got to get out there because this doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy because I don't know if I'm gonna travel to Nashville. I look at ticket prices and
Yeah,
they're like
I can't go on a
$300.
Tuesday, man. I think that's a lot of people's frustration is they want to go support and they want to be there for their team, but the league cares more about scheduling times that matter for them for TV rights than matter to times for people that actually want to go to the games. So
So I do believe that if New York beats gets onto Cincy and it's an upset, we will get all playoff games at home. That'd be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
That'd be amazing. Let's go, New York, New York, New York.
We're Red Bulls
Red
that
Bull.
day.
I'm gonna go and buy a bunch of Red Bulls. And just
I got 2 in my fridge. I don't drink them, but I got them for
So,
free. So
so on the West, you got the Sounders and FC Dallas. Poppy's former club, right? Um, the Sounders are going down, man. I mean, the Sounders, they have a good squad, but they're just always injured. Raul Ruidiaz injured. Joao Paulo also come from injury. Like, I mean, they have a good squad. It's just that they always get injured. I'm going for the Sounders though. I like the youth that Dallas has, but I believe the Sounders are gonna make it out of this. I think it's gonna be LAFC and Sounders on these ones.
I agree.
And then on the other bracket, you have St. Louis against either Sporting KC. When's the last time you've heard of a Sporting KC in the playoffs, John? That's crazy. It's like vintage.
they're, they started off really bad and then they got a little better and now I guess they're okay. Yeah. The whole of the West, like nothing apart from like St. Louis and maybe Seattle if they get really hot in the playoffs again, and maybe LAFC, but even they've shown that they can slip up. There's not like I'm more afraid of Columbus and Philly and Cincy than I am of anybody on the West. Do you guys agree?
100%, John. Like we have the most not forte, like the strongest teams are in the East. I'm not afraid of the West. Old West. Like
Yeah. I think definitely St. Louis will go in through, against whoever is in a wild card. So I think it's irrelevant. Sporting and San Jose are just playing to whoever loses the
let me see
St.
what's the
Louis.
record.
because I have friends that are Quakes fans. I want San Jose to win this one.
I mean, I think it's nicer for them, San Jose.
Yeah, I mean,
Then right, like I think they've got more on the
they've
line.
always
Like
been in the
they
shadows.
struggled so much. So
Yeah,
just
they've
the fact
always
that they
been in
made the wild card is like a big deal for them. So
Yeah, they've always been in the shadows of in the backs of LA Galaxy, and they're like kind of like the ugly duckling of the West. You know what I mean? And now that San Diego is coming, right? And San Diego with that, I'm sorry, but they should have just kept the San Diego loyal and just have that team go up. I don't understand why that logo is horrendous. I'm gonna be completely honest. San Diego Loyal had a fan base. They had massive fans. They sold out stadiums. I just don't understand why you kill a club like that. It wasn't like if it was a Miami Fusion or the Tampa Bay Mutiny, I totally understand why that's dead. But San Diego Loyal actually had a good fan base, a small team, but you know, fans that yeah, it just sucks now. And now they're gonna have to what transfer the loyalty to the other San Diego team. You know, that's the crazy ideas of the league. But do you have any? Do you think the Quakes are gonna beat St. Louis at all, or they have no chance? That would be a huge upset. Can you
I
imagine
mean,
that?
maybe. I think, like I said, I think it doesn't matter anyway because either team loses to St. Louis. So that's the thing about these wild cards teams. Like the eighth and ninth are just not good enough to go anywhere. You know,
No, when it
you're
comes
so far
to
down in the playoff order, right? This is why it's too many teams. Too many teams, Luis. We should just have like 8 teams max.
yeah,
Not
so
even
you got
6 teams on
so
each side.
if Orlando pulls the historic and goes to the final, I ask you, Paola, this question: Who do you think they're gonna face from the West?
From the West.
I think it's obvious.
You think San Luis?
No, I
I
think
think
Buanga.
LAFC.
I
Yeah,
I
LAFC is
think
gonna pull it
Buanga.
off for some
I think
reason.
we're gonna see Buanga. My arch nemesis.
Buonga who? That will
I
be
think
the
you could see
episode.
an LAFC St. Louis conference final for the
Correct.
West, right?
I agree.
And then
I,
it's like when I think you see an Orlando City, I'm gonna say
Cincinnati,
Philly,
Hmm.
Philly.
just because I want a
Philly's
home
gonna pull it
match.
off, I think.
I
No,
think
Yeah.
that's
Philly
gonna,
are better than
yeah,
you
that's
realize.
gonna be
Yeah,
if it's
Philly
a
know how
Orlando
to do
City
well. They were
Philly.
second last year. Like they're a good playoff team.
Orlando City Philly semifinal. That'll be
I think Orlando City Philly semifinal and an LA Cincinnati, St. Louis City semifinal with an Orlando City LAFC final
well, that's final.
in Exploria with us lifting the cup. There you go. Glory.
Man, oh man,
With
oh man.
Bawanga crying into his
I'll
sad
be
little
like
face. There you go.
Buanga. I'll be like suck it, Buanga.
When he
That
gets
would be hilarious.
Duncan
No,
is gonna
I
be
get kicked
having
out.
the game.
Duncan is the true reigning MVP, and
Can you
Bawanga is just
imagine
sad.
goes to the Copa America next year, freaking kills it, like freaking like 13 goals, MVP of the Copa America. You imagine that? Wow, massive dreams.
That
No, but
would be
those
awesome.
dreams
Yeah.
are attainable now. We just got to start believing a little bit more. I think we do have the squad and the players to do so. Now, when it comes to goalkeeper, I found this very interesting. The MLS season leaders in shutouts. I don't know if this is going to be like affecting any of the voting for MLS goalkeeper of the year, but look at that. Stephen Fry, 14, Calentano, Cincinnati, Steve Clark from Houston, Jonathan Sirois from Montreal, and then Pedro Gales, Orlando City with 10. So, let's read some comments real quick here. Joshua Tall, facts, John. Everyone needs to go to the game on the 30th. New York is going to pull off the biggest upset, or in Cincy, so Orlando will host all the games. I really hope we score at least 2 goals before Nashville score if they do. Yeah, so if Orlando wins the first 2 games, then there's no need for a third game.
Hopefully, because I don't like that new thing.
So now, do away goals count?
That's a good
Well,
question.
also you can't have a tie. There's no draws.
Right, there's no draws, right? It goes to
So
penalties.
it's like OCB rules. It's like down in MLS Next Pro. So that first game, if it's tied after 90 minutes, it goes straight to
Like
penalties.
Leagues Cup.
Yeah,
Same thing.
You gotta have a win or a loss. So that's how you can win it in 2. You can't have a tie. That's why goals don't count. Doesn't matter. Away home goals doesn't matter.
Do you think it's going to go to penalties in one of those games against Nashville?
For sure.
It could. I can see the second one.
Here's the other thing that's being debated is do you want to win it in 2 games and have more time off, or do you actually want to play 3 games and win it in 3 games?
I want to
Because
win
there's
it.
an international break in there, so the conference semifinals are like at least a 2-week break if you win it in 2 games.
I would like to win it in 2 games. I think Orlando has it to win it in 2 games, and it will give us enough time to get everybody on point and go all out on the semifinal,
Yeah,
on the
I mean
quarterfinal.
you gotta schedule some friendlies or play inter squad teams or something, because the way that MLS has spread this whole thing out is the fact that we're stopping for an international break in the middle of playoffs is ridiculous. So it's going to be a long. It's like a good 5 weeks of playoffs if we go all the way to MLS Cup.
That's right. That's right. What I have next here is we also have the brackets for CONCACAF Champions League. They already added a couple of more teams since the last time we went over this. In my opinion, it's a little bit way more competitive than last year. Than this year. I'm sorry. Now they got Pachuca, Toluca, Tigres, Chivas, Monterrey, America, Inter Miami, Whitecaps. Whitecaps are for Canada. Nashville, Philly, Houston. The Cavalry, I guess. The Forge, right there from Canada. The Forge. What a name. FC Cincinnati, St. Louis. Then you have Independiente from Panama, Real Estelí, Herediano, Alajuelense, Orlando City, and then Columbus. We have Columbus even on our cereal and our soup. They're everywhere we go. They're following us everywhere we
I was
go,
gonna
man.
say that they're following
They're
us.
following us everywhere we go, man. I'm tired of seeing this freaking sea. Jeez. Louise, that's crazy. But there's 6 spots left, and but it seems this is going to be great. What teams are we going to get? We'll find out very soon. Once the MLS is over, they'll do the drawing, I'm sure, for this, and we'll find out if maybe LPO may travel to Honduras. Maybe we got Real Esteli, and we play in a high school stadium, right? That has no lights, and it has a horrible pitch. Right? Or maybe we go to Costa Rica, and then John's gonna come too.
I'm already in Costa Rica waiting for you guys.
Right? Or we go to Mexico. We just don't drink the water there. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true.
Everywhere that you go, don't drink water. No.
Well, I'm just surprised with the Canadian League teams. What do you think about that? I mean, wouldn't those teams be? I mean, why this whole thing of Whitecaps, Montreal, and Toronto being the MLS, but then the other ones that also playing the Canadian League doesn't make any sense, John. I mean,
it's kind of screwed up because it took them so long to have their own league. Like those 3 teams, obviously, that play in MLS have just been in there because there was never a Canadian league, and then there's kind of now like a Canadian league, but it's almost like similar to like USL level, so it's almost like a minor league in itself, and therefore that they get a qualification because of that. And those teams also play in like the Canadian Cup, etc. So there could be an argument for down the line to say that maybe there should be a Canada division of MLS, right, or something like that, or split them off. But they're franchises, right? So this is how you end up with a situation where you got a country that has some teams that are in a league of another country. It's a weird situation. But this team, what's this 8? I don't even know this logo. What is this team? Is it from minor leagues, Luis?
Which one?
You got Cavalry.
The Cavalry. Okay.
You got the Cavalry. You got Forge.
The Forge.
The Forge. What a
Yeah.
or
name.
garage. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the Cavalry, I see, I recognize them. I've heard of them. I don't know about this Forge, but yeah, I mean, it's no different from, I would say, from the smaller nations that are going to join
Oh,
from
look.
the islands, right, or from the CONCACAF. So
Look what Anthony
I think it's
Solis
the
is
same.
saying. He's saying thoughts on the three Canadian teams moving to CPL. I think that could open more U.S. cities for MLS.
I would love to. I mean, it makes more sense to do that, but like I said, they're MLS franchises, so you'd have to somehow buy them out of a franchise. It's a very
And
complicated
then they will have to
situation.
go minor league-ish. It's just not gonna
It's
make
yeah,
any
they would
sense.
say their brand is being devalued because they're no
Correct.
longer, they don't consider that league as high a brand. Doesn't have obviously the deal with them, like now the deal with Messi. None of these teams are going
Yeah,
to want
none of
to
these
leave
teams want to
because they're
leave
making so much
for
money.
sure.
So it's a case of, that's why I said maybe, and I think it's something MLS should have considered long ago, is buying USL, right? But the USL will have a tier system of teams. They're going to instill pro rel within their own franchise system, which is something that MLS could have done if they had to buy their own minor leagues, right? So maybe there's an argument to have a Canadian division of Major League Soccer and add more Canadian teams and have an East, a West in the US, and then Canada, right? And then play into playoffs that way. There's multiple things you could do, but yeah, it is very strange to have three Canadian MLS teams and then other Canadian league in. Especially strange because there's a special spot for the three Canadian MLS teams from MLS to get in CONCACAF as well as this. So is it argued to say they're getting a very easy route into CONCACAF, considering how few teams there are in Canada? That's what I would say.
You know,
How did they got the spot? Sorry
They
to be in
probably
this.
in there by doing well, like top
but
two
their
in
own
their league,
league.
I believe, or
Look,
they did very well in the actual Canadian
look.
Cup,
If you
which is its own thing.
like, if you want to really make it, if the I think the whole point of the MLS and why they incorporated Canada and incorporated, I think, just Toronto and Montreal at some point, but and then Vancouver came in, or vice versa. I don't remember, but honestly, um, yeah, they should go into their own league, in my opinion. I mean, it's that'll be what makes most sense. But in the beginning, they wanted to be this groundbreaking league, MLS, that it was spun the whole continent. But it's funny how none of the Mexican Federation wanted to give any other teams to the MLS. Only Canada wanted to do that. I'm sure now with this whole Messi thing, you ask any lower tier team in Mexico if they want to come play in the MLS, they'll be like, hell yeah, where do I sign right now? Now, if you look at Toronto, they have a border with the United States, right? So it's really close to the border with Canada. So I would believe if there's a Mexican team that wants to be added into the MLS at some point in their life, it would have to be also in the border with Mexico and the United States. But now you got San Diego Loyal, which is like right there. Well, no, I keep calling them Loyal. The San Diego right there. Would El Paso get a team at some point? El Paso, the Salinos, that'll be their mascot. Right? Sorry, this is a bit of a bad joke.
I
Well,
caught it, Luis. I
Salinas
caught
from
it.
Texas, right? The Tex-Mex. Luis Olverio, saludos, buen programa. Let's go Orlando City. Thank you, Luis.
Go.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that would be great. But I mean, look, it's shaping up the competition for CONCACAF Champions League, right? Now, John, I wanted to ask you, and I want to ask Paola as well. It's kind of to close. What are your thoughts regarding those rumors brewing? The Tom Bogert said about Ricardo being interviewed by DC for the GM position.
You want to go first, John, or I can go first?
Yeah, I mean, I think you go first, Paula. I was also gonna wonder, are we gonna do lineups for us? Looking at time, this game is next Monday, so we won't be able to stream next Monday because the literal
Oh,
game will be
damn,
next
that's
Monday.
true.
So maybe we do a
At
Sunday night
what
next
time is
week
the
preview show or something. That's what I was thinking.
what time is the game?
At 7, if I'm
It's
not
like
mistaken.
7 on a Monday. Yeah.
Maybe we could do a post game
We can do a live in the halftime show.
from the stadium.
Live from the stadium. Live from the.
Live
we'll
from
get-
the stadium.
No, it was just a random thought of mine that
No, definitely we could do a preview on
we'll
Sunday.
figure
for
that
sure.
out. I might have to work Sunday as well. We'll figure that out offline.
Yeah.
Random thought in my head about the
Yeah,
game.
I mean we'll do a
Um,
starting 11, but I wanted your opinion on
Yes.
those rumors.
Sorry, get us sidetracked there. Opinion on it. I think several things. One, I don't know how eager they are to move within MLS. I think if anything, our front office, Ricardo, Luis, I could see them going to Europe for a better deal. I think they like where they are now. I think they like working with Oscar. I think they like working with the club. Yes, I think if someone wants to, call you up and offer you a job, you're always going to take that conversation. Like he's going to take the phone call and he probably wanted to hear what they had to say. And maybe he wants, I don't know if they actually offered him anything. I don't know if they're, able to do that yet. I'm not 100% sure on whether apparently we said that we allowed him. First of all, we blocked them from talking to him, and then we allowed him to talk to them. So maybe we did that out of courtesy. Maybe Ricardo said, I want to talk to them. Who knows? We don't know the whole story. Maybe it was just a case of Ricardo saying, okay, I heard your offer. Thank you. I'm going to wait till the end of the season and hear what Orlando has to say, and then I'll get back to you. Right? I think he's very focused on playoffs as a part of the whole of that team is focused on playoff. Everybody is. Oscar is. Luis is. So I don't think they're the kind of guys that let themselves get distracted in the middle of the season by getting offers from other clubs. Do you guys see it that way as well? Regardless of what the offer was, I think it would have been a conversation of this is not the right time for me to talk about this right now. I'll get back to you at the end of the season.
Probably a strategic thing for Tom Bogert and put fire in the water, even though
it's kind of like annoying, isn't it? I was sort of like, I know
Well-
that he works the Athletic. He doesn't actually work. That's the confusing thing, right? Guys like Tom Bogert, yes, he's on MLS, but really he's in that capacity. He's just his own reporter. He works for the Athletic, so he's reporting like any other soccer reporter would.
And I mean,
I get it, but also it's like, is that helpful? No. Do we need to know this? I guess so, right? But
I believe he's been given a massive golden egg nugget.
yeah, I think that's the thing. I think
And
he gets fed stuff, right?
it has either come from Moreira's
themselves,
themselves or the club. I highly doubt the club.
I think Tom Bogert gets intra-club memos that go from club to club. There's some kind of system that says that this DC have officially inquired with Orlando City about talking to X person or X player. That goes through an actual memo system, and Tom Bogert is privy to that and sees that, and then uses that information. That's his inside scoop, right? That's how it works. So it's up to him whether he chooses to share what he knows. And I think that it's very obvious to me that they're,
right. And I believe that
it's an interesting story to them and to the Athletic and to MLS, the fact that we haven't renewed and the fact that we're doing so well and they want to talk about it.
I agree. I mean, but they could be waiting till, maybe everything is handshake for now and then they're going to settle it after, who knows? I mean, I don't know. Whoever says that they know, they don't know.
I think the thing is we have playoffs now. We have the situation now. I think any of this, Oscar's got it 100% right.
Yeah.
We all just need to take what he says to be true in the fact that they're not worrying about it now. They're not thinking about it now. And then take that and apply it to Luis and apply it to Ricardo. And I believe that to be true too. I think that they're professionals and they're focusing on this season. And then when this season's over, maybe they'll assess their options, just like any player, like they're going to do with their squad. They will themselves assess their own options. And if this is an option that's been offered to him, he'll probably wait to hear our offer first
I
before
was gonna
making any
say.
decision. I don't
Mhm.
think Ricardo is the kind of guy to just go, sure, DC, whatever you want, I'm there. I think they might not even made him an offer. They might have just started a conversation to say, hey, we know you're out of contract. We're interested. Let us know at the end of the season if you want to talk more.
I have
That's
a big
enough for
I
Tom
have
to
a
write a tweet, and that's enough for everybody to get panicked about, right?
right. I have a big feeling that we're gonna be resigning all three of them. I don't know. Something tells me. I mean, I mean,
Hopefully.
especially if Orlando goes into a big deep run. I mean, let's say Orlando goes to the semifinals of the MLS. Like, wouldn't you resign the? Wouldn't you resign the? I mean, you're gonna be that cutthroat. Who else are you gonna bring? Bruce Arena? I
I
mean,
mean,
who else are you gonna bring? Bruce Arena? That's the only thing you got. Bruce Arena or somebody else is gonna start from scratch. And look, with all due respect, you're not gonna have the whole Tata Martino situation in Orlando with a freaking translator everywhere he goes. Like, that's not how you coach the sport. You gotta
Yeah.
you
I
gotta
think there's a
find it.
serious lack of good
Yeah,
MLS coaches right now.
yeah. And I think we got the
And the
top one.
ones that are good are at their clubs
I
and are
think
not
we
going to
have the
leave.
top. I think we have the top coach in the league, and we're like
I think,
completely overlooking this.
yeah, we have one of the top 4 or
Yeah,
5 coaches in the league for sure.
it's just So honestly, like, when I heard about that, I said, well, I mean, in the end, it's up to him, right? If he decides that he wants to go, I mean, who doesn't want to get a bigger payday, right? Understandable. Would Musi will stay? You know what I mean? That's a question. He may be staying with Oscar, and then Ricardo may go, fly like an eagle. But other than that, I really don't. I I mean, I think it'd be a huge blow. I mean, these are the three amigos, man. I mean, they are the reason why this club has gotten so good since they stepped into power. I mean, took a little bit of time, took a little bit of time, but now we're seeing the fruits of their labor, right? Anything you want to add, Paola?
no, like, think this is their job, right? So, and you know that your contract ends at the end of the season, end of the playoff in this case. So you're just hearing what others can offer, and is not a sealed deal. I know that a lot of people are like running like a chicken with no head, like saying, "Oh, Moreira is gone. Moreira is gone." He just had the conversation, like John said, and oh, thank you for your offer, and bye. I don't know. He has offers in the table. He's a human being. He has a family that he needs to, support. So it if it happens, if happens, I hope that our owners have a backup plan if that happens, right? But he just have options, and hopefully they stay, Luis stays, and Oscar stay. That's what I'm gonna say.
I mean, it's the same as a player. Like when
Right.
players get
Exactly.
approached by big clubs, like if Facu gets approached by Arsenal and they're like, "Hey, we want to pay 30 million for Facu," we're gonna have to let him talk to them. It's just right, and I don't think DC is a big enough club to really lure him away. And like where they are right now, if it was a team out of Europe coming in to talk to them, like we saw that Moreira went over to Europe in the summer, remember? And he went to Arsenal, and he went to a few other places. Like he went to somewhere, I think Porto
Real
in
Madrid, I
Portugal,
think.
or
Yeah, Real
like, and
Madrid,
like
something
that's
like
the
that.
kind of thing where I'm like, oh, like they could
Mm.
steal him to be a scout, right? And to them, that's like a drop in the ocean. DC, I don't see that as a big, luring threat personally. They don't even know who their manager is right now.
And
So
the DC is expensive. Why leave Orlando? I'm just kidding.
yeah, let's not compare cities. They've got a few things we don't.
Yeah, I know. But think about, is their job, is their right to listen to other clubs or other offers. But until the day that it comes true, I don't believe anything. So rumors are rumors.
Okay, hi, can you guys hear me? My internet kind
Yes,
of
sir.
like went away and came back. Let's read some comments real quick. Lewis, please be right about Ricardo Lewis and Oscar Pereira staying with OC. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's the way to go, in my opinion. I mean, renew them all three. I mean, they're the big part of a cornerstone of this club. I mean, um, and they're going to be able now, if they're allowed to open the wallets and bring quality young talent, just like they did with Faku. I mean, if they could bring like two Fakus, but in different positions, like a left back that could play maybe right back also, and maybe a center back, and somebody that is within the ages of 23 and 25. I think it'll be fantastic. And that's how you build the squad. And there's already a core. I mean, we don't know if Junior is going to stay, or if maybe it's Antonio Carlos last season, and we don't know if some of the players are going to stay or not. But definitely a core. We have a core. Why throw it away? Not throw it away, but like bring somebody else that maybe well regarded in a different league, but doesn't know the system of MLS. MLS is a very complicated league, a complicated schedule, complicated league. The pitches, and I don't know if you've seen the David Beckham documentary. Did you see when he said, and I come from freaking, Real Madrid, like the pitches are like beautiful, and then I come playing in a freaking American football with the lines. I was confused where the hell I was going to shoot. Like, he started that whole. I mean, Beckham was a huge part of the evolution of the league, and now I think we're on the third phase of the evolution. I'm close to a World Cup, right? And I think Orlando, it's definitely making strides. But okay, so let's do the lineup real quick. Do you want to name some names, John, real quick?
Well, unless you want to wait and do it before the game, we're gonna go another pod. If we're not, we'll do it right now.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it right now, and then in case you guys
In
don't
case there's
make it
any
to the next
changes,
episode.
I think it's gonna be, obviously Pedro in goal, and then hopefully we're gonna see the center back duo of Janssen and AC finally
Do you believe
together.
Dagerdan is going to start as your right back?
I think, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
do this full back four: Dagerdan, yeah, Antonio Janssen, and then obviously the other Antonio.
Rafa,
Mr. Santos.
right? And then the double pivot, Wilder and Cesar.
Of course.
And I believe that Cesar needs to just watch out with his yellow cards and stuff, because Mukhtar is going to be all over. Cartagena,
Godoy is gonna be all over like last time.
yeah, I agree. Araujo. And then are we going for Mauri right here, or you're going for Ojeda?
No, Mauri. I'm going for Mauri, and I'm sticking with the formation that Oscar always like worked for him in the last couple of 7 games. So I don't know about you, John, if you want Pereira there.
No, I mean I agree. I think it has to be him. I think Angulo, Facu, Duncan. I think Ojeda is a great player, but it's shown really that he does more off the bench for us, and I think that's okay. I think I think Enrique is fine off the bench. I think Angulo and Facu and Mauricio are your starting three now for the playoffs, and Duncan too. Unless one of those, I mean, I doubt Facu, but unless Mauricio and Angulo show that maybe they're not hitting their targets, or maybe Mauricio's, if he has an off game this first game, maybe you drop him out, or if Angulo, seems to have one of those games where he keeps missing the target or doesn't lift his head up, maybe that's a problem. But for right now, I think all of these guys were looking in good form. So I have no problem with the starting lineup. I think this is most likely what we're going to see from
Same
Oscar.
here. I agree. And just to point out, based on the last topic we were talking about, who brought who in this team? The core before the Musi and the Ricardo Moreira era with Pareja, you got Jensen, maybe Mauri, and that's it. The rest, they brought Galese in for the cheap. They brought Rafael Santos, and he was questioned. We questioned that signing in the beginning of the season. They brought a player loaned from Palmeiras that we didn't know who he was. Then we found out. I remember I made that episode saying he played like 200 minutes for Palmeiras. What kind of player is this? Ivan Angulo. Then they brought Facundo Torres from a top team Peñarol with La Riera, the coach La Riera. They killed everyone in Uruguay. I mean, Canovio. I mean, you're talking about fantastic players. Facu was one of their designated player. Boom. Dagger Dan. They're bringing somebody from Iceland. Really? Iceland? Right? Dagger Dan. There you go. Then brought this kid from Montevideo Wanderers, small team in Uruguay. No one in the United States has heard of that team. Cesar Araujo. And then you got in the pick for Orlando City in the draft. Who picked who were the responsibles to pick Duncan McGuire? Right? So are we ready to give all of that away? Do we think Bruce Arena is gonna come and right here? No. Yeah, like it took a while for them to, mesh together. Yeah, it took a little bit, but look at the fruits of their labor, man, and that eye that all three of them have to put this squad together. I just feel like, imagine if you give them one more season with an open wallet, bring me 3 DP players right now with more money, not just spending on Facu, because if you compare how much Ivan, Rafa, Cesar, Wilder, Dagger cost compared to Facundo, it's like times 3.
I thought it was very funny that we got rid of Bertrand Cara,
Yeah,
who was our most expensive player.
exactly.
And then we've seen no downside from that whatsoever. And then that made us the team that had the cheapest wage bill of any team in the league, and yet we're second in the Supporters Shield. And that just shows you right there why these guys need to be renewed, because that's exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to get money out of the squad, and I don't know how you get more money out of a team with the lowest wage bill than, unless we came first. Yeah, it's an incredible feat.
If you're listening, and I know I am just a Joe Schmo, a Joe Blow, just some guy with a hat, Bayern Munich hat on, Mr. Wilf, resign them. Honestly, they have a great eye for picking players. I mean, they're showing it in their form. Yes, it took a little while, sir. Took a little while, a little stumble in the bed, little fixing, but it got done, and now Orlando's onwards with high momentum. Not even from the MLS, onwards to the playoffs. I think. Are we ready? Do we think that, let's say, Jose Mourinho is going to come and redo this? Do we think that Bruce Arena is going to come and do this? Jim Curran, maybe. But maybe you're gonna with Jim Curran, you're gonna throw away one season and then start over. So are we ready to? Are they gonna definitely have that same impact? Right? I highly doubt. So I believe if you are gonna be ready to open the wallet and sign more DPS for this next season, that Orlando's making a deep run in the playoffs, or maybe become MLS champs, and definitely be forced to compete with Inter, like with Messi in a full season. You know, who better suited for the job than those three guys? That's just my opinion, my humble opinion, guys. So that was my piece. I wanted to say that. So, anything else you want to add, John, before we go? Thank you so much for everyone that's been watching. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you drop us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as well. If you're listening, make sure that you are on the description on the audio. There's going to be all our social media. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel. We're trying to make it to the 1K subscribers, guys. John, anything else you want to add before we go?
No, just excited for playoffs. And even sucked on a Monday night. That's annoying, but
It's
it's
literally Monday
okay.
Night Football, if you think about it.
Yeah, I was supposed to be working that 30th night, so I'm gonna have to get off work. So get there to the game. Encourage everybody to come out, even though it is a Monday. It's playoffs. We need all your support, and I hope to see you all there for a big win. If we get a big win that first game, it'll just kind of kill Nashville's hope and dreams, and then we'll go there and seal it up
Exactly.
in two. So hope for a big win against Nashville, 2 or 3 goals. Let's go.
Paola?
Episode 35 is up for Tiro de Esquina OC. That's Spanish content. If you want to listen to us, go. It's a fun. We had Alonso Contreras in our last episode, so go have a listen. And like John said, even though it's a Monday, you don't see this often. We're hosting the playoffs at home. So be there to support the boys. I'm going to be there and I'm working all day. So there's no excuses. And Luis, you're going to be there, right, too?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll
And he's
probably
coming from Tampa, guys. So there's no
yeah, I'll be
zero
there.
excuses.
And I
Zero
work that
excuses.
day too.
And
So
you work that day.
I'm gonna have to work in the parking lot, finish my work, and then just go and check in.
Go and check in. So see, there's no excuses, guys. Let's go support the boys because they need us. So vamos, Orlando.
Well, guys, my prediction is a 3-0 win, Orlando City win. I do believe that John's right. I think Orlando needs to put the accent an accent mark on their season. A huge W in bold letters. 3 or 4-0. Going to Nashville. Puppy special if you want. You know what I mean? You want to just not attack the whole game. That's cool, right? But with a 4-0 win, I mean, you're forcing the other team to definitely go into panic mode. And I think that's what Orlando needs to do. Cut it to 2 games and go think about quarterfinals and then go from there. And vamos Orlando, guys. Vamos Orlando. We may have a Sunday show and then maybe, I don't know, maybe a post game. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe from my car, but we'll see. We'll be talking. Just check out our social media for more. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day. Vamos
Vamos,
Orlando.
Orlando, let's go.